We're going to look at the mean and the median. These are the two most common measures of the center of a distribution and talk about why they each can be valuable in different situations. Mean and median measure the middle. So they both start with M, middle starts with M. Other words for the middle might be average or center, typical, middle, expected value. Any of these things, when you see these words, they're typically talking about the center or middle of a distribution, which we usually will use the mean or median to measure. The mean is great because it includes everyone. If you have the list of numbers 3, 5, and 6, that's your whole distribution, you take 3 plus 5 plus 6, you add them all together, and you divide by how many numbers you had, 1, 2, 3 numbers, and you get an average of 4.66. The mean includes every single value. So if you're trying to figure out what is typical, what is average, it seems reasonable to include everyone in it, and that's why you use the mean. Now the symbol mu, which is a Greek letter, it looks like a U, is typically used when you're describing the mean of an entire group. When you're only taking a sample of a group, when you're only taking a few people from a group, we'll use the symbol X bar. So you'll get used to seeing either mu or X bar referring to the mean. The median, on the other hand, is only one value. So if you have a list of numbers and you put them in order, 3, 5, and 6, the middle is the number 5. So the median is 5. It doesn't matter, this could be 3 or this could be 0.00794. It's irrelevant as long as there's one number below and one number above. The median is just going to be whatever the middle value is. Why then, if the median is only a single value and the average includes everyone, would we care? Well, if we have a bunch of values of how much money people earn today, let's try punching all these numbers in our calculator and see what the median is and see what the mean is and see if there's a meaningful difference there. So if we did our stat edit, we'll have our list 1 come up. You can clear that if there's any numbers in there, and you punch in the data. And I'm going to pause the video while I type this in. Once you have all 17 numbers punched in your list, you can go to Stat, Calc, one of our stats, and get all of the data you need to come up for you. And you will see that the mean, we'll drag that over, the mean X bar is 99.375. And you scroll down to the median, 92.5. They're pretty reasonably close for this kind of information, but you can see the mean is a little bit higher. The reason the mean's higher is because on the low end, everyone's kind of scrunched together, and on the high end, you get a little bit more spread out. And when you're talking about things like income, that's going to be fairly typical. In this case, reasonably symmetrical, you can trust the mean. The mean is actually going to be a really good value to tell you how much on average people made. That said, the median would also be a reasonable value. They're pretty close. Let's look at another income distribution type of problem where the mean is going to be a little bit of trouble. In this case here, the list starts out pretty much the same. We have 50, 60, 65, 75, 80, 80, 80, 90, 95. But if you get down to the next row, you're going to see a lot bigger numbers start to appear on the high end. And that's typical of income. The people who make a lot of money tend to make a lot more money than the people on the low end. So that 110 becomes 150. That 130 becomes 200. And so forth. So you punch in these new values and you can write right over the top of your old list if you'd like. And when we recalculate, you're going to see that the mean is actually quite a ways from the median. So now our mean is 182.5, and our median, if we scroll down, is exactly what it was before. And the reason it hasn't changed is because the middle of the list happens to fall right around here, and the middle of the list hasn't moved. The numbers up top have gotten bigger, but down here nothing has changed. So the median doesn't really highlight that change. That's one reason why the mean can be great. But 182 as an average salary, or how much on average someone earned today, look where that falls. Right around here. Almost 3/4 of the people in this list made less than the average, and only 1/4 made more than the average. So it's not often very useful in situations like this where the data is very skewed to talk about the mean, and so that's why we'll often say the median salary or the median income in any kind of skewed distribution. Otherwise, if the numbers are fairly symmetrical or all kind of close together, we'll often talk about the mean. So just be aware that both of them can be used in different situations.